Welcome back to the video course on placement preparation under Basic Skill Enhancement Program. As you are aware, dear students, that we were covering our module 2 that is based on cover letter, resume and CV writing. So, in continuation with our last topic that we started about CV writing, we will see here the various aspects and the various heads how we can write an effective resume and CV. So moving forward with the highlights of the last lecture, we covered what is a resume, then guidelines in writing a resume, contents of a resume objective, how to write a strong resume objective followed by the samples. Like we discussed, there are other options also apart from the resume objective like branding statement, profile summary, etc. So in this class we will see the education section template in the resume. So after the objective, what you need to mention is the education head, and under the education section how you should write the things so as to present your details of the academics in a more structured way, we will see here. So you can use the following template to help structure the education section of your resume. Keep in mind that you can change and remove any of this information to fit your own circumstances and the job which you are applying. So the education section has a college name. College name includes the year of graduation. So suppose you are graduating in 2020. So you write 2020 BTech degree or BPharm degree, your major subject. Suppose if it's computer science engineering, so you write BTech in computer science engineering, and your percentage in terms of your GPA or CGPA, etc. Then awards and honors. So it includes any academic achievements. Suppose you have participated in something at school level, that is your 10th and 12th primarily, but you need to focus more on the intermediate one. Or if in your college 4 years of graduation, whatever you did in your extracurriculars, if you won something in your co-curricular, in any sports that you participated, this you can mention. Or even in your academics, if you are a very bright student and you think that you did something which you can mention here, then you should include this in the awards and honors section. Then moving forward, we have certifications. So the certification include any professional or educational certification that you have received. Now, by professional certification, I mean any degree that you have received or any certificate that is related to some training, some internship, some project that you made, some hands-on training that you got. Educational certification, suppose you participated in some seminar, webinar, and you did a short-term course, then you can mention here apart from your regular degree or certificate that you got. Then we have professional development. So it includes any professional development experiences, courses from both online and in person. So suppose you did a course on soft skill, or you did a course on project planning, or you did a course on stress management, or you did a course on leadership. So if anything like that you have done, whether it is in person or through online mode, then you can mention here. Also the seminars, suppose you have attended a seminar on some latest technology that is in your field, or how you can prevent a problem that is very challenging in today's scenario, how you can deal with this problem in the COVID scenario. Any of such seminars that you have attended, you can measure, and it can be easily stated along with how you experienced it and what was your learning from that event. Then you might also mention here if you are a member of any relevant professional organization. So suppose you have enrolled for the membership of a magazine or any other institute or any central or state organization, or also of a club that is associated in terms of some science, innovation, invention, peer learning, and personal growth and development, then you can mention that here. If you hold a position within the organization, mention that as well. Also, if you were earlier working in your organization, if you are an experienced candidate and you were having some authority, some position which was regarding to your professional development, then you can also mention here. But this is mostly for the experienced personnel. For you, what is more important is what certifications, seminars you've attended, and what courses you have done in your college or even outside through any of the available modes. Then let us move further to the skill section in the resume. So the skill section of your resume includes your abilities that are related to the jobs you are applying. So this basically specifically focuses on those particular abilities which I told you are mentioned in the JS, that is job specification regarding the job. So once you read the JS and you identify which particular skills are required for that job, and in terms of the hard skill, in terms of the soft skill, in terms of the transferable skills, then you can mention those. In this section, you should list the skills that are relevant to the position or career field that you are interested in, such as software skills or language skills. So, suppose if you have done some software course and you are having skills, also if you are having some language proficiency apart, and also of which level, whether it is intermediate, beginner, fluent, what level, then you can mention here along with that language. Then what comes next is that not in, even you have to mention your skills, but it is very important that you customize your resume skills. Like suppose you have read a particular job specification and you have 4 or 5 skills which are very common and you see are matching with your profile in terms of when you do. So out of the 5 skills, there are 3 skills which you can relate with your learning so far. So you have to pick those 3 skills as they are more aligning to those asked by the employer, and then you can frame your content in a way that you focus more on those particular skills. And you can give examples from your academics, from your project, from your internship, and also from your personal life. Then customize the skill section of the resume to match as much as you can the requirements listed in the job posting. The closer a match your skills are to the job requirements, the better are your chances to be selected. So suppose you have some 8 skills or some 7 skills, and out of those 7, 3 or 4 of them match your credentials, then the maximum you have your keywords getting matched with the asked, there are major chances that your application will be screened or shortlisted for the interview process. Next, we have many employers utilize the automated applicant tracking system ATS to scan the candidate resumes. So, as I already told you that nowadays there are web crawlers and actually bots, and they screen your application. What they do is that they will see the job specification, they will pick out the keywords from there, and then they will search those keywords in your profile. And if your profile has like words as in the job advertisement in the specification head, then if you have like suppose 9 keywords, and out of the 9 in the job requirement, 6 of yours are matching, 7 of yours are matching, and 8 or 9 of yours are matching. So the higher there is the match, the higher is the chance that you will be selected and then reviewed by the human eyes. So what these bots do, that they will first do the first hand screening, and once they screen your details for the first time, the shortlisted ones can be further read by the HR, by the employer or the hiring manager. Then multiple resume skills section. So if there are multiple types of skills that are important to the job you're applying, you can include more than one skill list in your resume. Ideally, what you do is that there is a particular type of job, right? A particular category of job that is to be done. So you frame everything, your interest, your past work, your project, your internship, your certifications around that major highlight or major skill that they have asked. But suppose if there is a job which requires skills which are of varying nature or of two, three, four types, and you want to go for learning that particular job requirement, and you find out that okay, I can see myself fitting into a number of skill sets that they have asked. In that case, you can mention each particular head of the skill and the details that you have. For example, if you're applying for a job in education, right? So the job is related to a profile that is based on education. So you might include, see, like computer skills. So you know a number of softwares, you know Excel, you know other courses which are related to computer. So you can simply mention computer skills, and then you can state which languages, which software in particular that you are going to uh, tell them, or that you have learned over a period, or which you can use in your work. Similarly, if languages, you know a number of languages or two, three languages you are having good command, then you can mention it under the language skills also. Then skills here can include heads like hard skill and soft skill. So you can also make head like hard skill, and where you can write all those skills which you have learned through technology and practice, and which you use in your day-to-day activities. And soft skill like the personal growth and non-measurable skills, so those also you can include over here. Next, moving forward, what we have is soft skills are subjective. It is interpersonal skills. So by interpersonal, what we mean is the skills which are related from one person to the other person. So, like we have soft skills are subjective interpersonal skills such as communication, leadership, team building, or motivational skills that are much harder to quantify. So, these are the skills which you cannot just show in numbers that okay, 70% of this is present in you, 80% is present. But how you can mention them is in the form of the personal assessment that you can do, and you cannot do the grading, but you can do the rating. Then both type of skills may be included on a resume and in cover letters. So you can similarly include them in their heads, like the hard skills that you find yourself good enough in are, and the soft skills that you find yourself more using and more into are suppose team building, motivational, and an optimistic person, etc. Then mention both the job specific and the transferable skills. So see, job specific are the ones which are related to that particular job, right? Like you have typing, if it is a computer based job, then you have language proficiency, uh, database management, etc. Transferable, which you can learn and which you can see from the peers, like communication can be transferred. If you have good understanding, then you can start communicating also. Then job specific skills vary based on the position. For example, an IT help desk worker needs computer skills, as I already told you. Then teachers need lesson planning skills because they have to prepare how much they need to take for the students in a particular lecture. Carpenters need skills working with power tools. So if one is a carpenter, then those particular skills to use the tools is needed. Then transferable skills are those that you use in almost every job. So transferable, like you have communication, time management, work ethics, etc. So those you will require in every job that you do, right? So both types of skills can be included in a resume. Next, we have some keywords that you can use. Like we have in so your resume, you should write your skills in a way that active verbs you use, and this is the list which includes active verbs from A, like achieved, accomplished, acted, adapted. So addressed a people of so and so. Analyze the process of this, assisted in so and so work, appraised so and so, advised and altered, acquired this and this learning, assembled these many parts. Right. Similarly, from B you have built a system on so and so, balanced this approach towards this, boosted or blended so and so thing. Similarly, combined suppose this and this data, committed approach towards this, communicated project in terms of this, commissioned a confirmed results in terms of customized plan, then challenged and critic. Similarly, with D, we have decided on the output of developed so and so program, documented if you did some filing, discovered in terms of innovation, then determined you can use, distributed when you had something and that you actually made it available to everyone, diversified when you found new ways and new directions to particular thing, designated, dedicated your commitment, and similarly discussed. Also from E we have like exercised. Suppose if you work on something on the function, elected, appointed, engaged, entertained, engineered if you made some design from the scratch, employed, edited in terms of documentation, eliminated, removed some redundancies and estimated, you did the budgetary planning and control and all, exempted, endorsed, expedited, and experienced if you had some phenomena or some new version of things, then explained and enforced. Similarly, with the F, we have facilitated. You were in charge of some event and then financed. You had put the resources into it. Fit, formed, fortified, functioned, and formulated. And with the G, we have guided. You guided like so and so project. You gave your opinion on granted so and so and generated so and so idea. Guaranteed is when you giving surety, and gathered and graft. With the H we have hired so and so people like 20 for the HR job if you're applying. Helped if you are mentioning your NGO experience, headed and handled. Handled if you are showing how you are an organizer and you are showing your organizing skills. Then improved with the I, identified, installed, inspired and interviewed again with the HR thing, issued and invested like financial stuff, implemented any project, innovated, inspected and invented. The interpreted, you had better understanding and explanation of, inaugurated, informed, made people aware of something, induced and incorporated. Then with the J we have judged. You were judging something, joined, you became a member and justified, you helped in proving. And then we have airing, located, situated somewhere, lectured for the academic profiles, launched if, for any tech profile or science based, litigated, lobbied, led, and listened. Then with the M we have mastered, you were mastering that particular thing, managed, then met, minimized, you cut the usage, motivated, helped people to flourish, multiplied, did the number game, marketed, maximized, moved, and mediated. And you have negotiated, you went for negotiation for some dealing, navigated, and networked. Then we have O, that is operated. You did some operation thing on the particular thing. Owned, possessed, observed, went for a close examination, oversaw, organized, obtained, and oriented. Then for P, we have participated. You were a part of something, printed, proposed, pursued, perceived, and preserved. You planned something, then performed it, an activity, passed or prioritized. Then proficiency, having command over it, provided. Uh, then you have presented, procured, purchased, placed, and permitted. Then we have the Q, that is quoted, qualified, questioned, and queried. So you queried on something, then questioned if you answer, qualified, so and so person did qualify, etc. Then you have R, we have ranked, when you got some rank, then resolved, solved some problems, received, got some information, rewarded, you got some prize, revised, you were into proofreading, then revitalizing, revamped, response, rejected, then redesigned, then recruited and recovered, got things back into frame, then retrieved, reversed, raised, reached, reviewed, and researched. Then we have S, active verbs that you can use are saved, secured, did some stabilized, and scheduled activities, screen something, separated tasks, selected so and so, like your extracurricular performances, achievements, shaped and shortened, showed, then simplified, found solutions, sold, any idea or something, steered, stimulated, surveyed for the civil engineering things, supported, supplied, set goals. You can for one who is a good planner, then supervised and studied. And again, we have a T that includes trained, tabulated, made a note of, took, traveled, then transformed, did some work in terms of changing the form, tested, transferred, tailored, customized, that is, and targeted, focused approach. Then we have the U, like utilized, used few things and uncovered, and then united, group things, then you updated, then undertook, unified, and upgraded, you increase the level. We have verified, double checked, valued, validated, proved, then visited and visualized. With W we have witnessed, you saw something, worked, waited, wrote some points and one particular title and welcome something. Now next what we will see in our upcoming slide is how you can proofread the resume and check by making a checklist whether you are done with all the proofreading or not, and whether you can forward this to the employer, to the hiring manager or not. So for the review of the common resume mistakes, make sure that the resume is well written and error free. So it should not be having the very basic mistakes that one does. The first category of mistakes that we should check for are the spelling mistakes. So don't use words which you aren't familiar. Better use easy words so that you make less mistake in your resume, and you don't try to use some very difficult words from the book when you are not aware of their meaning or the usage in the sentence. Then use a dictionary as you write. You can also see meaning of the words what you are writing. Then perform a spell check on your finished resume. So the spell check will help you eliminate all the spelling errors. Carefully read every word in your resume. If you write from instead of from, just check it. Your spell check will be unable to detect your mistake, because if the spelling is right but the usage is at the wrong place, then spell check can't detect. So that time what you need to make sure is double read and check after you complete. And having a friend or two proofread your resume. So it is always a good idea that ask people from your circle to read the resume so that they can pick the mistakes and you can correct them. So moving forward, we have the punctuation mistakes, like check for the dots that you have at the end of all the sentences. If you are an older job applicant who learned to type on a typewriter, make sure that there is only a single space, not two spaces between the period ending a sentence and the new sentence. So the difference between the new method of typing is that you only give one space between the two sentences, that is at the end of one and the starting of a new one. Then be consistent in your use of punctuation. So you should take care that your full stop, commas, if you're starting the braces, then end them also. This should be taken care of. Then always put periods and commas within the question mark. So it is always advised that you are using periods only when they are asking for something. Some question is being asked, commas and quotes if something is being said in the original words. For example, won awards including the John H. Malcolm Memorial Service Award. So you can see that the inverted commas have started, inverted commas have also been ended after the brackets. Then you have avoid using the exclamation points. So your CV is or resume is more of a professional document. So you should avoid using exclamation points. Then try to avoid using the comma slices where two complete sentences are connected with a comma. See, a comma is preferred when you have something to be which has to be discussed in parts, or a thought which has an n number of things, like two, three things of the same order to be described. But when you are writing your resume, make sure that you have short and simple sentences. And if you're talking about things in detail, then use a fresh sentence or point to write, and don't use comma slices. Then we have the grammatical mistakes. So do not switch tenses within the section of your resume. Like suppose if you are starting something in the present tense, then make sure that you are continuing the tense in the sentence. If you are talking about things in the past tense, then keep the same frame. Be sure they are consistent for each job you list. Then we have the duties you perform in your current job should be in the present tense. Like if you are writing reports, if you are working currently somewhere, if you are actively participating somewhere, if you are attending something, a member of some institute or organization, then mention that in the present tense. But with the ones you have performed at all previous jobs should be represented in the past. So suppose there was some like project which you have completed or internship which you have done, so that you can mention in terms of the past tense, like road reports or participated in presentations and so on. Then capitalize all the proper nouns. When expressing numbers, write out all numbers between 1 and 9, like 1, 5, 7, but use numerals for all above 10 and above. Example, if so till 9 if you are using, better you write the full number in spelling, and above 10 and above you can write 10, 11, 12 in so pattern. Then if you begin a sentence with a numeral, spell out the numeral. So if in case you are beginning with a numeral, like 11 service awards won while employed, so you have mentioned that spell in the beginning. Make sure your date formats are consistent. So your date pattern should be uniform. Like if it is 11/22/20 or November 22/20, then throughout you should stick with one type only. Like it should not be that somewhere you are using the 11/22/20 and again you are using 11/20/22. So this will make a confusion. So follow the same order or format. Then next we have check for the word usage. So be on the lookout for the following easily confused words like accept and accept. So the homophones like this. So one is to receive, next is to exclude. Then all right and all right. The difference is with the space. So all right, correct, and all right. This is not a word only. Then affect is to bring about the change, and effect is the result of something. Personnel is again a private, and personnel is the staff members. So make sure that you don't miss out on the correct homophone. Then role to a character assigned, and our double role is to revolve. Similarly, what we have next is the resume design is important. So don't overcrowd your resume and allow for plenty of white space. So you should allow your resume to breathe, give some space in between so that it is easy to read also. And keep the number of fonts you use to a minimum, to at the most. A lot of variety in the font size is not appreciated. Keep two categories of font size and follow them throughout your resume. Then use a conservative font that is easy to read, like Times New Roman or Verdana. Do not justify the lines of type on your resume. So what is essential that it is easier for the ATS systems to screen for formats like Times New Roman, Calibri, Arial, etc. Then do not overuse capitalization, italics, underlines, or other emphasizing features. See, everything in your resume is important, but when you are using capital words frequently, you are using italics and underlines, your resume seems shouting, and that is not what you want to convey, right? Make sure your name, address, phone number, and email address appear on your resume, and all the correspondence preferably at the top. So what we discussed also in our last class that you can make a header of this and make sure that all your basic information is at the top of your resume. Then for a paper resume, print your resume on white or clean paper using a good quality printer and print on one side of the paper only. So suppose you have to submit a hard copy, then make sure you use only one side for the printing and a white or clean background is preferable. Now moving forward, we have check dates, contact information, abbreviations, and spacing. So check the dates of all the prior employment. Suppose you are mentioning your project timeline or you are mentioning your work dates, then make sure that your dates are correct. Check your address and phone number. Are they still current and correct? So also double check the address what you are giving, the phone or the contact number. Then check the number of spaces separating your categories. Are they consistent? So if you have a different category of skills, if you have different category of internship experiences or project experiences or work experiences, make sure you categorize them. Then check the abbreviation of state names. Like all state abbreviations are two letters. So as you can see, New York, if you are using, so NY is the abbreviation, California, CA, Florida, FL. So if you are using any abbreviation, just double check. Then what to omit? So things that you should avoid are omit the salary history. Unless and until it is asked by the employer, you should not mention it in your resume. Then omit the age, race, marital status, or the gender information. If it unless and until the employer has asked or it is necessary for you to mention, exempt it from the resume or the CV. So that is all about the few things that you should keep in mind and the common mistakes that you should avoid while writing a resume.